So, how much volume do you need to send in order to hit your goals?
I don't know.
So, a lot of people actually never achieve their goals simply because they are just not sending enough volume and they're not optimizing their outreach.
Oh my god! Wow!
And even some people think they really send enough volume and they think they're doing a great job, and then all of a sudden they think like, hey, I'm not sure why it's not working, but I'm not getting enough appointments. And then sometimes in some cases the only thing that holds them back is literally sending more volume and just analyzing a few things. And so in this video we are going to talk about the volume that is required in order for you to hit your goals. Of course, everyone has different goals, everyone has different visions, but eventually in most cases, if you want to grow your business, you need to send a certain amount of volume in order to get the appointments you want in order to grow your business. So when should you increase volume, and how much volume and messages do you need to actually send? So this depends on a lot of different things. First of all, it depends on the competition in the marketplace. For example, when you're targeting coaches and you're using the channel on Facebook. If you go to these coaching groups and you have like your Facebook profiles and you're reaching out to coaches in coaching groups, then probably they already had like 100, maybe 200 messages in their inbox from people that are trying to reach out to them. And then I'm not joking. And so if you need to target coaches, you need to or be really different, or you need to just send more volume, but it's probably likely to be both. And so that is like a marketplace that is just really competitive. And so in order to get a lot of coaches on the call on Facebook, because a lot of people are doing Facebook outreach, and so there's a lot of volume going on from older people, so then you just need to be different, you need to analyze better, you need to optimize better, but also sending volume. And then if you would, for example, look at another group, let's say construction workers. I'm not sure how competitive it is, but let's say that's not really competitive. And these construction workers are, so if you're targeting construction workers, they are, for example, getting like one message a month from someone that's trying to pitch them something. And so the construction workers are much more likely to actually engage in the conversation with you and hop in the call versus the coach that gets 100 messages a month.
Really, nigga?
And so it really depends on the competition of the marketplace and the saturation of the channel. Because Facebook might be saturated with a lot of like people that are trying to reach coaches, but maybe there's another channel that is not saturated. So for example, SMS or iMessage is not really saturated. And then instead of needing to send 1000 messages on Facebook in order to get 50 meetings, on SMS you only need to send 200, to just give an example. And so it really depends on the competition of the target and also the competition in the channel itself. So these two combined is actually determining how much volume you sort of need to send. But then we also have one other thing. So the more personalized your messages are, the lower volume you can send. Because if you send an extremely personalized video or extremely personalized message, then people are more likely to engage in the conversation as well, because they know you put in some time to actually really check their profile or check their website or whatever. And so depending on these three things actually, so the competition of the channel, the competition of like who is targeting that exact audience, and how personalized is your message. And what I actually always will advise is just to send out a lot of volume to start with, because if you have a lot of volume to start off with already, you can optimize faster and analyze faster. So for example, instead of sending, in the same example with the coaches on Facebook, instead of sending 100 messages a day to these coaches, start by 300 messages a day or 400 in order to actually get some traction, analyze some numbers and see how people respond. So if you send 300, 400 or 500 messages on Facebook every single day, for example, you have much more data to analyze and optimize your campaigns. Because if you would send 100 messages versus 500 messages, you can optimize 5 times faster. And so I would always recommend to just start by doing it, but it depends on the marketplace size as well. So for example, in the international market, probably you can send a lot of volume and you're not really blasting through your audience size. But certain niches are really small and they need to be a little bit more careful, because if you only have 10,000 people in your niche, then if you send 10,000 messages, you've reached everyone. And so you need to make sure that you can send enough messages to enough people that not one person gets the same message every month, but at the minimum every 3 months or 2 months. Because most of the time after 2 or 3 months they already forgotten about your message. And you can also change your messaging so that they feel that it's something different again. So preferably just every 2 to 3 months you can reach the same person again, but try to switch it up a little bit. But sometimes you don't ever need to send the same message to the same people because the audience is big enough. So I'm not sure if you know Alex Hormozi, but he's saying if you do 100 outreaches a day for 90 days or something like that, you will be successful. And so this is not the case with certain marketplace. And so this is not the case with certain audiences. And so it really depends on personalization, the competition on the target itself, and the competition on the channel. So depending on these three, you need to send more than 100 or not. But like I would set 100 as the bare minimum. And in most cases, it's not enough.
Oh my God!
I would rather say in most cases that it's 300 or 400 or 500 a day that you need to do in order to get enough appointments to eventually reach your goals. But it of course depends on your goals. And so probably Alex Hormozi isn't really in the trenches anymore with like outbound marketing and sending messages. Because indeed a few years ago, when you will send 100 messages, then probably you will have enough business in 90 days so that you are successful. But the reason why we need to send out more is because again, the competition increases. And so when someone normally had 5 messages a month, they now might have 20 or 25 or 30. And so normally, let's say they have 1 hour a month in order to check 6 messages, you have 10 minutes per message. But if there are 30 messages for the same hour, that means 2 minutes per message. And so they're not really spending that much attention anymore on your message. And so you need to send out more volume to get the same result. So right now, more volume is just required versus a few years ago. But it also depends a little bit on how optimized your message is. The more optimized it is and the more personalized it is, the better your response rate and the fewer amount of messages you need to send. But it also, of course, again, depends on your goal. So what I would say, send more volume, analyze your messages and do A/B tests, optimize your messages, and then scale up your outreach to eventually get more and more appointments. But make sure to start at a reasonable rate at like 200, 300, 400 at least, in order to get some data and to optimize fast. And then after like a month or 2 months of optimization and you're not really getting enough appointments, just increase the volume because you did the optimization. So it's probably not because of the message that it sucks, but probably the competition on the marketplace is too much and they just need to send more volume. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.